candidates hoping to unseat Governor Newsom in the recall election. Republican Caitlyn Jenner joining us now to talk about her campaign. And thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Alan, it's my pleasure. Good to be back in the Bay Area. That's where I started this journey, down in San Jose.
Well, first, let's jump right into it. You're an Olympic gold medalist, a reality TV personality. Why turn to politics? Why do you want to be the next governor of California?
Because in 1973, I drove my 63 VW Bug to California because it was the Golden State. I won the games in San Jose, surrounded myself with great people. And for the last 48 years, I've watched this state just decline. I've watched too many of my friends leave. Businesses, 18,000 companies have left. We just can't continue to go down this road. We have to change. And I think we have more private citizens running for office right now than ever before in history, because we have to make changes. I want to restore hope in California. And Gavin Newsom has destroyed hope. And you can't have a healthy America if you have a sick California. And you know what? California is pretty sick right now.
Well, let's talk about taxes. Cutting taxes. Do you support any tax increases at all?
No, absolutely. That's one thing you have when you go to Sacramento is you have this great thing called veto power. No, we have to develop a tax structure in this state that is competitive with other states. Why are we losing 18,000 companies and more are leaving day by day? It's because of our tax structure and our regulations, the two main things, making it almost impossible to do business here. We're losing companies to low tax states, certainly lower than we are, but we have to have a tax system here in California where we're competitive with other states. I'm all about competition. And we can't do that when we're the most taxed state in the nation, the most regulated state in the nation. And we were 49th out of 50 a couple of months ago of the worst place to do business in the United States. And thanks to Gavin Newsom, we are now at 50, the worst state to do business in the entire country. It just doesn't have to be that way.
Well, the pandemic's been pretty hard on California. Talk about COVID. What's your stance on specifically vaccine mandates?
As far as vaccine mandates, I've been vaccinated. My 95-year-old mother has been vaccinated. I think vaccinations are good, but I also believe in individual freedoms. I don't want the state or the federal government to say that you have to get mandated or we're going to restrict your travel or putting restrictions on it. I'm about individual freedom. If you're going to get the vaccine, that is your decision between you and your doctor. You know better than anybody else. If you have any pre-existing conditions or a reason to get it, maybe your age or overweight, whatever it may be, that's your decision to make.
Many of the mandates, of course, Governor Newsom's responsibility. How would you rank his handlings of the pandemic so far, and what would you have done differently?
First of all, the reason he is in the recall is because of the mothers and the parents of kids who were kept out of school way too long, who lost a year of education. We have to fix our education system. Other states did it differently. And there is that delicate balance between the science and the pandemic and the economy and public health. Honestly, Gavin Newsom did nothing but use COVID as a tool to change this state drastically. And that's why he's in this recall. I guarantee you, he had 2.2 million people sign the recall ballot. And I guarantee you a lot of them were parents of kids who were kept out of school. We needed to open up the economy earlier, and he didn't. He just was all about special interests, all about the teachers union was really dictating more to him than good common sense. He never had the people priorities and never had business as a priority. And that's why he's destroyed the state, and that's why he needs to go.
Well, he's talked about the issue of homelessness and how that needs to be addressed. How would you tackle homelessness in California?
First of all, homelessness has become such a big issue. I was in San Francisco just last week, and I was standing there, and across the street, up against a wall, there's probably 40 people, all leaning up against the wall. I saw one guy shooting up. I saw another drug deal going on and the cash being exchanged at the other end. We have to, first of all, we have to enforce our laws. And in San Francisco or across the state, we're not enforcing them. We have spent, or Gavin Newsom has spent your tax dollars, about $13 billion on homelessness. I'll ask everybody, has it gotten better? Absolutely no, it's only gotten worse. I'm a solutions person. These nonprofits that are getting this massive amount of money, 90% of it goes to the nonprofit and only about 10% goes into helping the homeless situation. Now, there are some good nonprofits out there and we need to support them. But I'm about, I used to live by the watch. If I wasn't getting fast enough times, I changed my training. Well, I'll tell you right now, we need to change what we're doing in California. I'm a performance-based. The nonprofits have to record or tell what money they spent at the end of the year. I'm not interested in how much money they spent. I'm interested in results. How many souls did they save? The next round of funding under my budget would go to the nonprofits that actually made a difference and got souls, off the streets. Also, since I'm a performance-based person and I want to see results, we talk about affordable housing and place to put people. There's a program down here in LA called the HOST program by the Sheriff's Department. They've done an absolutely wonderful job. I want to support organizations and certainly law enforcement. And they have done an absolutely fabulous job at really virtually no cost to the people. But we need to get results. We need to be results oriented when we're getting there. We need to spend our money not in low cost housing, but we need to spend our money in expanding our rehabilitation, either mental health, drug addiction, and we have to get these people, they need help and we need to get them off the street.
Another problem that's not going away, wildfires. What is your plan many of them, of course, caused by lightning, but what's your plan to protect Californians from that growing threat?
In fact, last week I was up at Northern California at the fires, talking to the Forest Service, talking to the firefighters, finding out what's going on. 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, I had the Woolsey fire come right through my property. I'm very familiar on this subject. Forest management, extremely important. Right now, the environmentalists have taken control of our forests. I mean, they say if you move one leaf in that forest, you're ruining the natural progression of the forest. No, to be honest with you, when there's that much fuel out there, the fires become even worse. We need to manage our forests better. We need to do a better job in that. Also, early detection is extremely important. There's a lot of systems out there for early detection because the most important thing is to jump on these fires quickly. And third, give the firefighters the resources that they need. The best way to attack these fires is by air. We need to improve our, what I would call a fire air force in the state. We need all this equipment on hand, ready to go. So as soon as anything breaks out, they can jump on these fires very, very quickly. So those are probably the most important things.
I want to ask you about the new law in Texas that bans abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Actually, I was on CNN earlier and it kind of went viral. I am a Republican who's pro-choice. I think that's very important. What happened down in Texas, I respect the rights of a sovereign state of Texas to be able to do what they want to do. I'm not a Texan, so I really can't comment on that, but they have the right to do what they did. But as a pro-choice candidate, I don't see any changes in abortion in the state of California in the near future. So that's kind of where I stand.
So finally, tell voters why you deserve to be the next governor of California.
Well, I think where I come in is I am a moderate Republican. Even when I first thought about getting into this race, California obviously is a very blue state. It's 2-to-1 Democrats over Republicans. You can't win with just the Republican vote. And as a moderate Republican, and the reason I'm on that side is because I have conservative economic values. I believe in lower taxes, less regulations. I want to build a pro-business environment. And that's so important for California because we don't have that right now. Sacramento and Gavin Newsom are honestly against businesses in California. That's why they're leaving. But as a moderate Republican, I'm more like a Democrat. I am inclusive to all people, but you can't have one without the other. You can't have social programs and put money into social programs if you do not have an economy. The economy is by far number one. We have to do a better job when it comes to not only supporting these companies that are in California, but keep them from leaving.
Caitlyn Jenner, we want to thank you so much for your time. And for more information about the recall election and the other candidates vying for Governor Newsom's seat, you can head to kpix.com/recall.
We'll have more news and weather